Okay, so first of all, let me share my screen real quick. Going to
Recording.
yeah, just to put it on the Google Drive, so maybe that people who didn't have the chance to attend the meeting can still see it. Um, so about the code work that Maxime told us to do. As for my part, the solution I found was just open a document, and because I don't know if you know this command in Python. You can just assign a variable to a document. For example, if I create a new document here, I name it. We just test txt. I write hello, for example, inside it. In here, if I do f equals open, here you're going to open the document. It's in the same directory, so I'm just gonna say test.txt. And then it's really important. You have to tell the software Python how or what to do with this text. So there are multiple parameters here. You can do R for write. I'm sorry, for read, W for write. But right now we all we need to do is just read it. So I'm just gonna put the R. And for line in, then I'm going to put F, which is assigned to this. Let me zoom in a little bit. So for each line in this document, right here, I'm gonna write multiple. I can just do, for example, print line. So I'm just going to comment this for now. So wait, let me just put this in full screen. So if I play here, it just says hello and hi, because for each line, it prints the line. So that's one command, some useful command in Python.
Can
So
you
I'm sorry.
why do you use for each line? Can you just print the whole like
Maybe you can do this. Let me just try. If I just print
I
F,
did
what happens?
I sent it in
If it does this, there's probably a way, but I didn't really look it up. Um, but yeah, there's probably a way to do it.
my
And
solution
yeah,
was
hmm
set a variable to the the file and it just printed the file straight up.
okay. But I think you used a different. Didn't you use something like is it wasn't like a file or something, and then a read or something like this?
Um no, I opened it and then
Yeah, but I mean, what did you use to open it?
just the same as that. Except I just printed F.
Oh, you mean
Or
this
I
thing?
well I did print f dot read.
Print f the oh okay. So in here print f the read.
And then
Uh
bracket
yeah.
the
Oh yeah, I'm
bracket.
sorry. Oh, like this. Okay. Yeah, this also work. Thanks for sharing this to us. Here it's not the most efficient way to do it, as Maxime just showed us. But basically, I just opened the document I was already in and just printed each line.
Is
So
there I'm
yeah.
just curious, is there a way to refer like when you're talking about
Hmm?
file path name, well, the paths, can you just
Yeah.
refer to yourself as a file, like with a dot or something? Does that work?
I guess so. Let me just there's probably a way. I'm not going to lie. I didn't really search this up, but I invite you to do it. Yeah. So this was a quick parenthesis in today's code work. There are probably multiple ways. Think of Romeo's way, etc. So now let's just start the lesson. Today's lesson. So just as a quick reminder from last time, do any one of you remember how to import a component? Imagine here I have a new file, for example, Nav Bar.js or JSX, it doesn't matter. Um, Basically, what should I write in this file, just to make it usable? Do any of you
First, you
remember?
need to export it,
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I can write it like this: export default, and
but
then
you need to export a function
yeah. So function, I can call it.
and the function that you created.
Yeah, I can call it whatever I want. I can also do an arrow function for now, I'm just going to put it like this. And then what's something really important inside this, which should we always do? Victor, do you remember?
Shall you not return?
Yep, that's it. You always have to return. Sometimes you forget. But yeah. And also put everything inside one div or just one tag. Doesn't matter. You can make it like this. So imagine I have. I'm gonna make a div for now. So imagine I have a hello. How should I import this from this document inside? How should I import this inside this? Do you
So
remember?
first you need to put at the start of the document import, and you open the UME,
Yeah.
and then dot slash navbar.gsx.
Yeah. So here, as you see, I put it inside
Ah,
another
it's in
folder.
components. So
Yep.
components slash navbar.gsx,
That's
and you
it.
shall find it. Yeah.
But the
And
thing is
then
that I didn't assign it to anything. I just imported it. So don't remember. Remember something really important.
yeah, you
Import
need to use tu sais les petites arrows là, les comment ça s'appelle?
the arrows.
No, if you want to import it in the function, you need to use the tu sais les trucs qu'on
Oh
utilise
yeah,
dans le système.
this.
Non, tu peux utiliser comment ça s'appelle?
Oh, this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it doesn't really work like this for components. It works like this for variables. But in here, as you see, I put import nav bar. This, I mean, I guess you can put whatever name you want. Just make sure you call it the same thing. And here I put the path name. Don't forget the folders. So in here to call it, I'm just going to open just the tags, and I'm just going to put navbar. Oh, my bad, I'm in caps lock. So the same as this one, and I'm going to close it right here. I can also do like this, both way work. But now it works. So basically, it's as if you were making a div, but instead of making a div, you just make a navbar. You created your own component. Basically, that's what React runs on. So this was a quick reminder. First of all, I'm going to show you how to use the useState from React. So basically, imagine we're having in here we're having a button, and in here we're having, for example, a let random num, and let me just say equals math dot floor math dot random, just like this, times 10. Okay, so now I have my random number, and imagine I want to just put a p tag inside here, and I'm just going to print this variable that's just right here. Imagine I have to do this. So here it's the random number, right? It works perfectly fine. If I reload, it's gonna change it. But one thing, imagine you wanna have a button that on click. So when you click the button, it's going to call a function. For this, I'm just going to do an arrow function, like this, and I'm going to do I'm sorry.
So you can like insert JavaScript code into your.
Yeah, that's something really useful in React. So in here, I'm just going to make a button. Let's write click to random on it. Just something not really useful. Okay, so here I have my button, but you realize, you notice that if I click on it, this doesn't change. I can for example, in here, I'm not going to show this. Basically, when I click on it, the number changes. If I had something that each time the number change, it console.log this random number, it's going to change. But the thing is that this doesn't change. So that's where useState comes in. So useState is already something inside React. If you want to use it, all you have to do is inside, wherever in your file you want, you import. So it's like this, useState from React. And here you're importing the useState to use it later. And basically a useState is that you assign a variable, you assign a function that changes this variable, and then it really changes while you click on it. I don't know if I'm being clear in this. I'm just going to show you. So to do this, you make a const. Here you put those signs right here, and then you put the variable you want. Let me say a random num. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna delete this one. I'm gonna comment it, and then you have to put a comma, and then you just put set a random number. This is just so you can call it later. It's going to make sense, and then you're going to
The
make
code
it.
is hard to read. Like every few
Oh,
seconds, it just like suddenly becomes really blurry.
oh,
Yeah, it's breaking up.
is it working or is it becoming blurry?
Like the video is.
So should I just try to try to do it again? Is it in any way better now, or is it still the
Yeah.
same?
Better.
It's better.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know. So I'm just going to maybe just scoot that on the side, just right here. Okay, so basically the useState is the thing you import in from React, and this is where you can change it. So inside here, there's the default value. If you want this number to have a default value, you can put it right here. For example, if I just put 5, it's always going to be 5. I can reload. If I can put 3 inside this, it's always going to be 3. And with this, you can do pretty much a lot of things. Actually, you know what? Let me just set it to 0 by default. And then inside here, inside this function, I'm not going to do something random. I'm just going to do something that counts the click. To do this, I'm going to put set random number. So you're calling, by doing this, you're calling the same thing just right here. And inside the parentheses is going to assign the value of this variable to what you put inside the parentheses. So for example, if I put 5, if I reload, it's 0. If I click on it, boom, it's 5. And with this, you can do a lot of things. For example, I can do equals inside this. It's going to be random num plus 1. And now if I reload 0, and when I click on it, each time I click, it adds 1.
C'est comme le truc de JitterClick en fait.
Yeah, it's basically this, the
How
click
does-
test.
I don't understand the
Mhm.
syntax right in front.
The syntax, yeah, it's pretty weird. Basically this all is the one thing, and in here you put the variable. This is the variable. You remember
Variable.
in here? Yeah. In here you remember this, the let.
Yeah.
Basically this is the same thing as this, and in here you just put a function that's going to change this value. Because if you don't do this, if you do it the same way as I did before, then it's not going to update in your website in real time. So
How
useState
does-
is
How do you
Yeah.
use the random num and the set random number variable? How are you
okay.
supposed
Do you mean you want to make it random, or do you mean those
I
ones?
mean, like, I don't understand. How does random, like,
Yeah, this is not a random. I'm sorry. Let me just
if
put
you set the
s-
set random numbers something. Wait,
mhm.
if you set
Yeah.
that to something, then it changes what random num.
Well, I'm sorry, I formulated not really well. The random was just for the first case. Now it's not random anymore. But basically, this is what you're going to call. For example, in here, I'm just going to call it. This is just the same as a function. You remember if I do, for example, a function hello like this, console.log hello. When I'm going to call this, I'm going to do just like this. You remember this in just standard JavaScript?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You're
basically,
setting a function.
yeah, this is the
So you're
useState
setting
from
a
React.
variable's function for a variable.
Yeah, basically that's pretty much it. I know it's kind of weird to understand in the first place, but the more you use it, the more sense it's going to make. So and useState, you're just calling this to make it work, and here's the default value that this variable has. So I know it can be pretty much confusing, but with time it's going to make more sense. So,
can you explain everything like in between the brackets, like
Um,
for the onClick?
Yeah. Let me just. This is because it doesn't exist anymore. Okay. So basically, in here, you remember the arrow functions. For example, if I do const hello, I can do equals like this. This is an arrow function. It's the same way. I mean, not the same way, but it's the same thing as writing function hello. This one and this one, it's doing the exact same thing. But what's more useful in the arrow functions is that you can use it inside those brackets in React and just in JavaScript. So basically in here, I'm going to go more details on this. In here, I don't give a name. I'm sorry, I don't give the name to the function inside here. I just so see, it doesn't have any name. It's from here, this and this. It's the same part. In here is the parenthesis where you're going to put any parameters if you need some. You remember if I do const hello, for example, x, and inside I put console.log x plus 5. So each time I'm going to call the function hello, and the value I put it inside here, the argument, for example, if I put 5, then it's going to console.log 5 plus 5, so 10. Basically, the arrow function makes you put functions inside brackets like this. Also, another way I could do it, I could do, for example, function add num, just like this. And I could do num plus 1. And in here, instead of doing this, I could just call it add num. Could call this function. So if I do this, it's going. Num is undefined.
Yeah, you're supposed
Yeah.
to set.
I put it before this. Yeah.
Shouldn't it be? Oh, never.
Sorry. Yeah. It doesn't work. Oh, okay. This is because I need to put arguments inside this. So in here, I'm going to put, for example, the number.
Do you return? No.
Yeah. My bad. So you return the number. Yeah. I'm stupid. If I do it like this, normally, it can work. Let me try. Just do this. Normally, if I reload. Yeah, it doesn't work. Let me just do.
Oh, do you set? You said num equal to num.
Return. I'm sorry.
Is that right? Do you set num?
Yeah. My bad. It's you have to set the num and num plus 1. Yeah, I'm sorry about this. Normally in here,
Where's the set num function like being made?
It's in the useState from React. It's there are more stuff going behind the machine, but basically in here you put the variable, and in this it creates a function that affects this value right here. So yeah, by doing another function, add sum. I'm doing the same thing as I was doing before, but as you can see, it adds 3 lines to the program, and we want it to be the more concise as possible. So I'm just going to do it the same way as I did before. So I'm just going to make an arrow function just like this. So in here, we don't put any arguments inside this because we don't have any, and we don't need any. And I'm going to do equals, and in here I'm just going to put set num and num plus 1. So if I reload, yep, it works perfectly now. So one thing also cool with arrow function is that you don't need to put return. It just what happens after the arrow automatically returns it. So that's a pretty good habit to take on. So am I being clear until now, or do I need to make some parts clearer.
I have one last question.
Yep, go on.
So why do you have to make an arrow function? Why don't you just call set num like by itself?
Because if I do this, if I'm just going to put this, set num, oop, what the heck, equals, inside this, because this is the, wait, does this work actually? So we need, yeah, see here, it does something kind of weird. Just, I think because if you put the set num, if you put the function, yeah, I'm kind of mixing myself up right now, but just for now, just use arrow function.
It's for reason.
I'm sorry.
It's for reason.
It's for reasons.
I just gotta cope.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You could probably search up the reason why. It's probably some weird.
Yeah. Just for now, just use it like this. It works perfectly.
Okay.
Fine. I'm sorry if I couldn't answer your questions though. But as you can see, I can also do a random number. I can just copy this thing that I put before, and I assign this value to the set num. So if I just click, each time it gives me a random number. So that's a pretty cool thing you can do with useState. So yeah, I think it's pretty much it for useState. I'm just going to put it as it was before. Yeah, any questions?
By the way, how do you import components again?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to show this in just in a second. Basically, first you need obviously your component in another file. I put it inside the component folder. It's not required. You can just put it somewhere inside this, but it's more organized. I usually have one pages folder and one components folder. The difference between a component really and a page, in this case, would be a page. Would just be a normal page. For example, if you have an about us page, a contact page, etc. And a component would just be something that's always here, or just not one page itself. For example, a nav bar, a footer, maybe just an arrow with some animations on it. Do you see what I mean by this?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you have your
What's the code like?
Mm-hmm. You mean this? Okay, so in here it's the same thing as I'm doing inside app.js. So you see here I have my function app inside. There's everything that we already put inside, and then I export it. I tend to prefer just exporting it before. I can also do it like this. Export default nav bar. I can do this. It's doing the same thing, but in here you save one line, so I just prefer doing it this way. So in here you export your function so that other components can receive it, and what you return from it is JSX. Basically, JSX is just HTML but kind of twisted by React. This is what you put just inside the return right here. This is JSX also. So now that I have it,
you want to insert nav bar into the app.js file?
Yeah, I'm just going to show this in just a second. So now that you have your component ready inside your app.js, you have to import it first. So in this line just right here, as you see, I put import navbar. So this name is just a name, so you can refer to it later if you wanna you put it if you wanna put it inside inside the page. And here's the path. So basically, when I put dot, I start from the same area that the file is in here app.js. So the dot, it's already inside. Yeah. And then you put just slash components. It enters the components folder, and then the nav bar. And then just to call it, it's so you see, if you want, for example, to make a div, you just put div, and that's all, right? You have a div. By doing this, you imported your.
How do you call it inside of the?
Yeah, you imported your component. So to do this, you just put navbar, like this.
Like
yeah, just as simple as this. And as you see here, I have my hello, that I had just right here. So as you see here, I have the opening and the closing one, right? It's not really beautiful as I can't put
I see.
anything inside it, and you can
If
just
you name
end it like this.
okay,
Yep.
if you name your function inside of your navbar
Mm-hmm.
JavaScript file something else, like navbar1 or something, and your file is still called navbar, would you still like the navbar HTML tag that you put to call it?
This one?
What does it correspond to the file name? Does it correspond to the import name, or does it correspond to what the called?
Wait, let me just. What do I do? This. Oh yeah, this. It was because of this. Okay, wait. What the
I
heck?
think you need the beginning
Oh,
one as well,
because-
closing, or that.
Yeah, this was this. So basically, this what you're calling here is how you named it right here. Normally, if I do navbar1 and in here I call it navbar1.
So
See, it still
the
works.
navbar one thing is referring specifically to the function.
This one, it doesn't really matter. You can call it however you want. I can call it hello, and just in here I call hello as well. And oh, did I call it the same way? Wait, let me just maybe put a like this. Yeah, basically this you call it however you want, as long as you exported your function. The name I usually put the same name as here, but it really doesn't matter. As long as you export it. This you assign what you have exported right here to it.
So you can't export multiple functions from a single file.
No, you can export one function from the file, but you can have multiple function inside it, but only one can be exported. Really
Okay.
good question. So let me just put it back to this. This is just to make it more aesthetically better. So what I wanted to. Okay, so this is how to import a component. Then it's just basic CSS. You assign it a class. Don't forget to assign it a class. It's class name equals for example, I don't know, nav bar. And then inside the CSS right here you put a dot to call the class dot nav bar, and then you put your CSS. I'm not going to do this now because I'm pretty sure you already know how to do this stuff, and either way I don't have the time. I mean today. So next we're going to move on the next thing. So was I clear with the useState? Do you have any more questions on this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and if you ever want more information on this, there's always the official documentation. I can search React useState, for example. And in here I have the using the state hook, and it just tells me what how to use it, etc. So this is something really cool to have. I'm going to just to put the link right here. Okay. So yeah, so there's pretty much a documentation for everything. So next I'm going to move on to the next part. It's going to be React Router. So basically, you remember in classical HTML, if you wanted to change pages, all you had to do was href, and for example slash about, and you close your about us, and it just sent you to the page, to the index, to the HTML page that had the name about. You remember this? In React, it's a bit different. You're going to have to use the React router. Just as the useState, there's also documentation on this. Let me just copy it right here. Okay. So this is the official documentation for React.
I have to go.
Okay. I'll be posting the recording on Google Drive, so if you want to see the end, just
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. So in right here, there's always a documentation for this, and the first thing that it tells you to do is npm install React Router DOM. Basically, in here you have a big folder with a lot of things inside this, and to use some functionalities of your what you imported, you just have to import it inside this node modules. And to do this, you're going to put the command npm install, and then whatever thing you're importing from. So in here it tells us to do npm install React Router DOM. So that's what I'm just going to do right now. may take a little bit of time, maybe a few a few seconds. But while I'll do this, I'm already going to start. So it tells us to use it. You also have to import this. I'm just going to go in more details inside this later, but you just copy paste. So in here you're importing multiple things. Browser router. I'm not too sure about this one, but I think it's just making it available to use. Then the switch. I'm going to talk about more details later. The route. This is. Well, I'm going to pretty much talk about everything later. So for now, I don't need those two anymore. I'm just going to keep this one. Okay, so imagine I have multiple components. For now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy all. I'm going to copy all this, and I'm going to create a new page. That I'm going to name home.jsx. So in here, I'm just going to do create a new function, export default function, no parameters inside it, and I need to call it first home, no parameters. I return the thing. I put everything inside one div or just one tag. I'm just going to make a div this time, and in here I'm going to paste everything I had before. So let me just do it like this. Okay, so now if I if I reload, if I delete this, it's going to be a blank page. Yep, or at least a page with this background color. So I'm going to start using the React router. So first it tells us everything that implies the router, the React router. You have to put it inside a router tag like this. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so now I have my router. I can use a React router uses inside this. As you can see, this one turned white. This is because I now call it here and it has a use. So by the way, I just thought of it, the Nav Bar. I'm not going to put it here. I'm going to put it right here. So as you can see, the Nav Bar, I don't put it inside the router, and this is going to be for a specific reason later. So in here, there's the switch tag. You're going to ask me what the switch is. So let me just write it. So open switch, and just like this. So a switch is where you're going to define a certain URL. So you see in here I have just a local host. You're going to assign what it does. For example, if I put /home to a component, and to do this, it's pretty much simple. First, I'm just going to import this component because I don't have it anymore inside this page. So import home from pages /home. Okay, so I have it imported now. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a new route. So to do this, you open a tag, route, and then the path. So this is what you're going to have after, for example, the base URL of your site. It's normal, it gives me an error for now. So this, I'm just going to put /. Slash is going to be your default when you don't have anything with it. It's just the default website. It's going to call this route. So in here, I'm going to do a component. It doesn't tell us in here, but you can do it this way. And in here, you're just going to call something you imported before. So in here, home. So what it does, let me just close it. I can just close it on itself like this. If you see me doing this, this is just so I don't have to open it also and just put the closing tag. You just put everything inside one, so it's shorter. So now when it has the route path /, it's okay. This is okay. Yeah, this is because I didn't import this on the other one. It was just right here. Normally it's not going to give me the error. It did get useState is not defined because I didn't import useState on this one. No, not here, but in here. And normally it's good. All right. So in here, as you see, it just shows what I have on this component. Am I being clear until now? Anyone has any questions?
No, you're clear.
Okay. So in here it just shows what I have inside this, and it's because it's calling the component home because the path that we have right here is nothing. It's just the usual slash. You can put exact path if I'm correct. This is maybe just to save some bugs later. But for now you can just keep it like this. Not really important. And as you can see here, it just tells us you can have multiple routes. So I'm going to have another route path equals let's make an about us page. So I'm going to put slash about, and I'm going to assign the component. I'm not going to do it now because I don't have it created yet. But inside the pages, I'm going to create a new file, make it about.jsx or jx or js. It doesn't matter. In here, I'm just going to export default function about, the usual, return something, and inside it make a div. For about, I'm just going to say maybe an h1 tag about us, and then we are a programming club. Okay, this is just for demonstrative purposes. So see here it gives me an error. It's because I didn't finish what I was doing right here. I'm also, don't forget to import your components. I'm going to import it from the pages slash about, just like this. And in here, I'm going to assign the route slash about to the component about. I'm going to close it like this. So don't forget to put a slash at the end if you want to close it. Reload this. And so in here, you see, I have nothing. I don't know if you can see it well. My monitor is quite big. Can you read what's inside this?
All I can read is localhost 3000.
Yeah, that's all that there's in it. If I add slash about, oopsies. Let me just put exact path.
And I have a question.
Yeah.
So, for example, we have a site, for example, and there's home, maybe about us, and that's it. And when we click on about us, do you have to make a separate site for it to go onto the link on, or can you do that like in the
do you mean for example if you do a button that switches between the two? Is that what you're asking, or
kind of like if you have a nav bar where there's home, there's about us, and like for example in the Auti site where you have members and you click on members and it goes to another page, do you have to create a separate site for the link to go to, or can it be all in the same code?
It can be all in the same code. Oh, you mean this? You mean, or do you have to create all those files and not just put everything inside one? Is that what you're asking?
Oh yeah.
I guess you can, but that's some really bad habit. Just have your thing organized. If you want, I can show you. No, I'm not going to show you the the programming club, because it's not using React. It's using another framework called Next. But I'm going to make it a bit clearer as we go on. So, for example, as you see here, I have the nav bar. It's not inside the router. So whether I'm using the slash in this slash about, or in this slash home, or just in slash nothing, it's still going to be the same nav bar here. So as you can see in here, I had to put exact path. I think what's happening is that if you don't put exact path, it's thinking of everything. Just whether you have a slash, it's going to show it. Just for now, just put exact path for the home one. The others you don't need to, or at least not in this case. So as you can see here, I have my basic page. So it's calling. I just have a slash. I have nothing. So it's calling the home component. And if I do slash about, then it's calling the about component. But you're going to ask me. It's kind of annoying, right, to change the URL. And don't worry, there's already something implemented on it. So what I'm going to do is this nav bar, I'm going to move it and just put it inside the router. It's not inside the switch, so it doesn't change anything for now. From now, I mean for now. But I put it inside this so I can use some functions. Link this one. It's the only one we didn't use yet to navigate between the pages. So I'm going to go inside the Nav Bar component, and I'm going to make, for example, an A. No, I'm not going to make an A because it's not how you do it. To do it, you have to import the link. So in here, I don't use it inside this one. So I'm just going to import. I'm going to copy this, put it inside the Nav Bar on the top. And I don't need those ones. I can just, I just need the link one. Let me just put it like this. All right. So now it tells us how you call a link. You just put link to equals, and then where you want it to send you. So I'm going to do this. To open a link, it works because I have imported it here. And the two, I'm just going to do equals slash. So in here is just going to send us to the basic homepage. I'm gonna close it. Inside this, I'm gonna make maybe an A tag, and put homepage, just home. So now if I reload, I have the home here. We can't see much. I'm gonna give it a class. Name equals. I'm just not going to make an A tag. It's not really that useful for now. So you can read. Oh, this is because. All right. Let me just put a class name equals nav bar inside this one. I'm just going to do a quick CSS dot nav bar. I'm going to do color white, and if I do, I'm just going to do this. So this is to apply what's inside to every component. I mean every tag, every element you have inside this. So in here, it's going to also apply to this one. And if I do another, it's going to also apply to this one. But with this, I'm going to do the nav bar and visited like this, and dot nav bar link. This is so see, it's white now. This is so I don't have the purple thing where we can't really read much about it. So here I have my link, and I can do multiple ones. I can do another one, link to equals slash about. So in here I'm referring to it's in the app.js. See here I have the route path equals slash about. Basically, when I click on the button, I'm gonna move it here. It's going to send us in the slash about right here. And then here it's going to detect that we have a slash about, so it's going to show the component about. Is it clear, or do I have to maybe make some things a bit clearer for now? Okay, so it appears, yeah.
It's clear, but the one thing I don't understand is when you have the home link.
Yeah.
You have to create a separate file. Like for example, if you click on home, you have to like create a separate file for the next page to go to, like to have a different page.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you mean why can't we just put the home page inside this, right? Is that what you're asking?
Not really.
I'm sorry. Wait.
No.
Okay. Can you try to say it one more time? I'm going to make my best to
Okay. For
understand.
example, if you have a site, for example, the Audi site. I know you didn't use React, but if you have
code, okay.
members, right? You click on members and it goes to another page.
Yeah. This page.
Does that page, does it have to be coded in another file?
Oh yeah. Well, you could technically do everything inside the app.js, but the problem is with that is that you're going to be overloaded like real quick. You're going to look at your code, and then there's going to be like a ton of functions like this, and you're not going to really find yourself. You're going to be a bit lost. So the advantage inside having multiple pages is that if you want to change anything inside the member, you just go inside the member page, you change what you have, and it just does it for you. I'm telling you, just use multiple files like this, one file per page. It's really important because if you don't, it's going to look really, really messy and real quick.
Okay. And
yeah.
To when you click on it, because usually it's a ref link that I use.
Yeah.
And I just create a whole separate site. How do you do it then? How do you do the
How do you call it?
Usually you put,
I mean the buttons. You mean those two?
Yeah.
Okay. So inside I put it inside the navbar.jsx, but you can put it wherever you want. There's something called link from the React router. This is the thing you imported to use all of this. So first of all, you have to import link from React router to use it, obviously. And you just open a link tag like this. So you see in here I have a link tag opened. And you put the 2, and the 2 is going to be the thing where you put the href before. So for example, if I do the same thing, this thing, but in classical HTML, as you used to do before, it would do this, obviously the A, and it would be a href equals /. But the problem with that is that when you click on this, it looks for the now here it works, but the problem is that by doing this, you're reloading the page and sending it to the HTML file that has that just is the index basically. But as you see the difference, I'm going to put home before just for demonstrative purposes. If I reload, so imagine I have the about us and the home. See how it's instant and I don't have to reload the page. Right. That's because with a React router, it doesn't reload the page. It just changes what's inside this. So before there was the component home, it wipes it out and just replaces it with the about. What you were doing in classical HTML is that there was a whole HTML page for one page, and when you clicked on the link, it sended you to another HTML page. And here it's different. So it's a no inside React. You always have to put the link like this. And don't worry if you forget, I'm going to make a lesson review after this, where there will be just everything I said earlier, okay? So in here I have my two links just to make it look better. I'm going on the css.navbar put a display flex. This is to make everything on one line, just like this. And for every and this is in here I'm just going to do .navbar. This is just to put everything that's directly inside. For example, by doing this, everything in here, this is going to be affected, but this won't, because this is not directly under it. Do you get what I mean? It's you affect it to everything that's inside, directly inside this. And here I have the link, but this one is inside the link that's inside the thing. So this was a quick parenthesis about it. There's way better ways to do it, but now I'm just making it work. I'm gonna make a quick padding left, maybe 10 pixels, and padding right, also 10 pixels. So it's a bit more spaced. I'm also going to make a background color, and I'm just going to put gray, maybe just this color. Okay. So now we can see. I'm gonna make it a bit darker. Okay, like this. Okay, so now we do have a nav bar. It's not pretty, but it still works. If I click on the about, it sends us to the about page, and then if I go on the home, it sends us to the home page. So this is the beauty of React Router. You don't have to reload the page; it's instantly doing it. See, it really doesn't reload. And this one, this nav bar, it's exactly the same whether I click on this one or this one, because what changes inside the app, the JS is just inside the switch. In here, this one always stays the same. So was I clear by saying this?
Yeah, but the so the about us is not a totally separate page.
Well, yeah, no. When you look at it, it's all one page, but the content changes when you click inside a button. When you click on the button here, I mean on this one, it just wipes out the about component and replaces it with the home, and vice versa. I can also do if I wanted another component, for example, contact.jsx. I'm just going to copy this code.
And JSX, is it just JavaScript?
Yeah. Don't worry about this. If I wanted to, I could just call it .js. Yeah, this works. This is just for some editors, it's better. I know Maxime Morizzo's one, likes .jsx better. But in VS Code both work exactly. Oh, because this you see here, it's not JavaScript. This one is what we call JSX. It's basically a modified version of HTML. Basically, that's it. So if you don't put .jsx, if I'm correct, it's going to give you errors on your editor about this. Not on VS Code, but on some editors. It's going to say div is not recognized. But if you put JSX, it will be recognized.
Okay.
So this way, yeah. So in here, if I wanted, I could put another component, another page. I'm going to name this contact, and I'm going to contact us. Send an email to this email. I'm just gonna put how about This is just to give an example. So I have to import in here. Import contact from, and here I'm going to put the path. It's really important. Do you understand everything that's inside the path? Because this one can be confusing sometimes, and it's really important. It's one of the major sources of problems. So contact, so now I'm calling it, but I don't have it called right here. So I'm going to create a new route. The path is going to be /contact, and the component is going to be contact. So this normally works. Why is it in different color?
Wait, there's one thing I don't get.
Yeah?
I don't really get the path. What does it do?
Okay. Basically, here by doing this, your program is going to look. The path is what you have right here. You see how I have just localhost 3000. So when I have the slash, this is just when it has nothing. When it's just like this, for example, if it's just audio.code, with no slashes at the end, etc., or just the www, etc. But this doesn't count. This is just the home page basically of the website. Then I'm setting something, another route that says when you have the route the path /about. So for example, in here, if I have /about, it's not going to work because we don't have an about page. It's on the home page for now. But in here, if it says if you have /about, then you're going to show the about component, that we imported from here. You remember, import about from pages /about. Yeah, so you can make an infinite number of these ones. So let me just, the contact. Usually it should work. If I go to Nav Bar, if I create a new link to /contact, did I make it? Didn't count. No, I think it's good. And contact. Normally, if I do this, okay, perfect. It shows what I have inside this. If I do this, it shows what I have inside the About Us page. And if I have this, it shows what I have in the home page. I'm just going to make a small h1 and just home, so we can see it better. See the About page, Contact Us page, and home page, and it doesn't reload. It's always the same document active. It just changes what's inside this part. So, are there any questions on this? Any questions? I really just I'll be glad to help. I know this can be a bit confusing at first, but just if you use it maybe 2 or 3 times, then it's just going to be an automatism. You're just going to know what to do.
Can I look at the CSS again?
Yeah.
For the nav bar.
Yeah, the nav bar. Don't look at this. This is a really bad habit of doing. I can do just if I do nav bar P like this, I'm going to do the same thing. And in here I'm just going to leave this. Yeah, so in here this is CSS. It's the same thing in HTML. It's not React only, but Flex, you basically you decide if you're doing one big row, or one big column. By default, it's in a big row, and it's just going to put each element you put inside next to one another. If I inspect, if I hover, it's on top of this one. No, not on top of this one. Oh yeah, on top of this one. This one has the class Nav Bar. This one is the Flex. See, it just puts everything in one line. The whole thing is one line, and just puts everything next to one another. That's some pretty useful CSS to know. So was that what you were looking for?
Yeah, I was just looking at the CSS to see how you got it in a line.
Okay. Yeah. So don't forget. I recommend you don't have to, but just so you keep things organized, have a pages folder, have a components folder, with the navbar, footer, etc. on here, the pages on here, about, contact, home, and basically that's pretty much it for today's lesson. It's a perfect timing. It's almost in 1 minute, 7 p.m. Yeah. So, do you understand everything we did with the React router? Yeah. No questions on this?
Yeah. So does it have to be in the router tag?
Yeah. If I don't put it, if I comment it, then if I reload, see, you should not use link outside a router. You really have to put a router tag. And well, what were you saying just after this?
And the nav bar and the switch are necessary, or is it only the router and the switch?
The nav bar is not necessary. The nav bar I just called this one. Right here. I can put it. I can. Oopsies. Just okay. The nav bar I can put it. Well, the thing is that I can put the nav bar here. It's going. Oh yeah. So here it gives me the error because in the nav bar, I have links here. But if I comment those, if I do this, for example, if I do this and I comment this, 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 and this one also, and if I don't import it, if I reload, it's going to work. But I mean, it displays as it. But the thing is that you can technically have multiple router tags by putting the navbar inside this one. It affects those. It affects those ones. Just if I had an advice, just put everything that's related to the router in some way, whether it is by putting links, just put it inside the router, and just going to put it as it was before. And also the last thing, the switch. Yeah, it's mandatory if you where you want to put those routes, where you define those routes, the switch is necessary. If I comment it, if I reload, oh, it does work. Well, okay, it does work, but actually it's some bad practice. If we look at the switch, where is it? Yeah, just put for the switch, just put it inside this. Maybe if it's if we did it the way they did, I just put it the users here, and not putting the component. You can do it both way, but yeah, just do the switch. So you let your browser know where you just define the different routes.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so no questions also about the use state that we talked about in the beginning of the class?
Oh,
No? It's
what's
good.
that?
Do you remember the useState where we did the wait, it's click to random. Actually, it's not click to random. Click to add. You remember when we click and it just adds one each time we click?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that.
Yeah, the useState is so basically you can change variables and it displays as the new variable, not just the original one. You remember what happened at the beginning when, if we just did it without the useState?
No.
Okay, basically we just had the original value. If I did yeah, I did the random example at the beginning. Maybe you weren't here. If I do
no,
for
I wasn't.
you oh, okay, you wasn't. For example, if I do let random number equals, remember it's kind of complicated to do random numbers in JavaScript. It's math.floor side math.random like this and times I don't know, let's say 10. This is so we have a random number between 1 and 10. If I do this, and in here if I make an I'm going to put use state like this. If I make another tag p, and in here I'm going to say just no use state, and if I call you remember to call a variable, you open the brackets like this, and inside you call it, for example, a random number as we have it called on the top. When I reload, well, yes, it's going to give me a random number, but the problem is that if I make another button, if I copy this one, and inside the onClick, in here you just creating a new function. This is the arrow function. If we do not set num, but if we do random number equals and this, if I click and make it click to random, if I click on this one, you see it doesn't change this value. Yeah. This one is just the first value that happened, but it doesn't change. If you want to make it change, you have to use the useState. All right.
Alright.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Any other questions? Anyone? Or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
C'était
Ouais.
très clair, je savais déjà un peu genre tout ça.
Mhm. Okay.
And yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Yeah, so if you have any more questions after this, I'm going to put everything we talked about today inside the lesson review. And yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys go. You're free. So thank you very much for attending today's meeting. I'll be also posting the today's recording also on the Google Drive.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.